Hello everybody, today I will be going over how to use or at least get started using my auto game framework. You can find this place linked down below. The free model at the time of making this video has not been updated to use the same framework as this, but in the future I may make an update in the description or in a pinned comment down below linking the updated model. But for now I will link this. And hopping into the main script, you can just see stuff like require. It's just bringing in all of the important functions into this main script execution. There is important values, but when I say important values, right now it's just one important value for the most part. There's this amount of things, but most of this stuff does nothing. Like you could probably use this without having to ever get in here, unless you're going in race, in which case do keep in mind elimination minigames. That might be important. But today we're just going to briefly go over individual because race is pretty self explanatory. And this whole framework just revolves around calling one function for the most part, which is start round, which takes in a few parameters. Elimination type, which will be a string, which I should probably, um, one sec. There. The round length, which should also be an integer. I will update this in the future, which will be obviously the round length. Players, which should be a table of all the players in the game. So you can see right here, I do a for loop which inserts every player in the players section into this table and then passes it into the function through the players variable. The sorry, teleport blocks, which could just be one or it can be a table of them. But if it's a table, you might want to handle that for yourself. See, as you can see right now, it's just a placeholder. And if you have a table, then it will just pass in the first one in the loop. You can change that to your liking for, say, maybe you're making a race round and you want to randomize where everyone starts, or you want to iterate on it. That might be nice. And then there's the last parameter, which is a special parameter, which I don't know if it does anything particular for, I can just look it up. So elimination does use it. Like it says, how many people move on is what that parameter determines. But right now there's only two things, and this one does not use the special parameter in any way. So you don't even have to specifically put this. I could just remove this for all that we care. But if you're doing elimination, you might want it. Or actually, rather, you probably do want it. Not elimination, race. And do keep in mind these are case sensitive. They are you have to have the exact match. Like if I made individual, this won't work. It won't call anything in this function. So like I said, we're going over individual. Basically, this is a framework because it does most of the basic stuff. It'll teleport you to the thing, it'll speed you 0, it'll wait 3 seconds, then let you go, and then detect if you fail or not, though the free model version will not have a fail parameter. You'll have to implement this yourself if you don't take the place. But it won't actually handle any of the game specific stuff. Like if I wanted this player failed to do something after the round's over, like maybe remove them. Rather, no, it does remove the person from the table. This can always be modified. But if you want to add additional functionality like a timer, in fact, if you want to add a timer, I'd just use the time elapsed and then do some remote function shenanigans, or maybe set a value to the current time elapsed. But overall, it's pretty easy to use, and then you can extend it how you see fit. And yeah, that's about all. So just make sure that when you're using this, you do like a players equals this, and it's set to equals because this start round returns the table back. It'll return the table of people who actually moved on. So if you got like eliminated, it will not return you. As you can see on the return statements, it returns the finished players for the race. I don't know if it changes anything for individual. It probably should just return, yeah, it just returns players for individual, so it still should work. But overall, most of this will be you extending it as you see fit for like UI functionality or stuff. And in the current place, you can just use it uses bindable events to connect this finish part and the fail part to the where is it? Important functions, which you can see here. These two functions right here are the ones that detect when somebody's failed or not. You can change the values and stuff. And an important thing to know is with individual, it's p calling the function, which means protected call. So if any of these lines like fail, like let's say it tries to load the character, of course that's at the end. So let's take a better example. Like say back here, it can't find the player. This command will throw an error, or rather an exception, and then it will go to the end and the thing will just fail. It'll be considered a fail state. So test run equaling false means that it failed to go through the full thing and it will just remove the player. So if an error happens, you will be removed, but an error should not happen, all things considered. At the very least, you have protection from from potentially just the entire program crashing. And that's about all you need to know to use it. Just remember when you're using it, you have to require it. You have to require it because that essentially brings in the functionality. If you've used any other programming language, it's like including it. If you do not require it and just try to go like server scripts, storage, important functions, and then try to call a function from it, that won't do anything. So that's about it. And yeah, have fun using it. Bye.